make.
What do you typically walk around at?
155.
155?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, that's still not that bad.
Yeah.
You seem really big for 135.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think just because I'm tall.
Yeah. How tall are you?
Like 5'10".
5'10"? That's tall for 135.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's Sean? 130 or what? Like 5'11"?
Yeah, he's probably an inch taller.
Huh. He's also very tall for that weight class.
Yeah, he's really tall.
Got to be like one of the tallest in the division.
I think he seems taller too. He's got the fro.
Yeah.
Gives him a little more like.
Adds like a couple of inches.
Yeah.
I was curious, is that a perm or is that his natural hair?
I think it's his natural hair.
Is it? Is it curly? He just got the natural Jufro?
Like I had a perm one time. Back in like COVID, I was like, fuck, I gotta do something different. I just permed it up.
No way. Did you? You made it like curly?
Mm-hmm. I didn't like
funny.
it.
No, you didn't like it?
I got rid of it.
That's funny. Long hair can get in the way for like fucking fighting and grappling.
Yeah.
Like remember when CM Punk was like making UFC fights and stuff? I forget who he fought, but he had like this long hair that like was in front of his eyes. Half the fight, he's like fucking messing with his hair.
He had that like man bun thing.
Something like that, yeah. And then it was like he was going like this, literally half the fight. It's like your fucking hair is more important than your fighting career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Benson does that though. Benson will be like in like a leg lock or something, and then instead of the fighting hands, he'll like turn and like start messing with his hair. And it's pretty funny.
It's one thing though if you've got like you do like the cornrows and like just make it tight to your head, then at least it's not in the way. But when you've got like fucking free flowing hair, it's like I guess in that in between stage that sucks.
Even girls like remember when Rose she shaved her head because she was like it just gets in the way.
Dude, that's pretty badass. She's like I don't give a fuck about my hair. I'm just here to fuck bitches up.
Yeah, she's pretty sick. Honestly, there's like a bunch of even like girl fighters now that are pretty sick.
Yeah, for sure. You know that it was that fight between I think it was Zhang Wei Li and Johanna Jędrzejczyk. That was like one of the best fights I think I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it was like one of the best fights ever, for sure.
Yeah, like guy or girl. That was just a sick fucking fight.
I think 115's sick too because they like almost never knock each other out.
Yeah.
But it's actually cool because they just fight the whole time.
And they're going too. It's like a nonstop pace. The way they kept a pace for 5 rounds, that was just incredible.
Did you watch Francis and Tyson Fury?
I didn't watch it. I saw some of the highlights. I saw Tyson getting knocked down and whatnot, but I didn't watch the whole thing.
I don't know. I thought it was kind of crazy that Francis did that good.
Yeah, very surprising for sure. That was really fucking cool because most all of these are like an MMA fighter signing up, like knowing they're basically kind of gonna get an ass kicking, but in exchange for a big check. And he came out and like arguably won the fight.
Yeah, it's kind of funny just think about Francis. Francis had a competitive fight with Tyson Fury, and these other fighters are losing to Jake Paul in boxing.
What the hell is that? That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, part of it, he's fighting guys that are like 50 years old and like with hip replacements and stuff. So, yeah, annoying. But yeah, I'd like to see him fight, I don't know, someone in their prime. That's the thing about Francis. He's definitely fucking at the top of his game. He just couldn't negotiate like another contract with the UFC.
Him and John Jones has to happen, right? Like,
I think
just
that'd be
one
sick.
has to happen.
Yeah. I just don't think, especially now that Francis is set up for maybe a fight with Anthony Joshua, maybe a rematch with Tyson Fury. I don't see him, and that's going to be way bigger paydays than probably anything the UFC could pay.
Did you see any of his training they were doing with like Mike Tyson and stuff?
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
It would look like pretty hard. Like I remember I was watching it and they had his coach had the like pamphlet of like, okay, today we're gonna do 6 rounds on the pads, 3 on the bag, and like 5 shadow boxing, which would already probably be a lot.
Yeah.
And he goes, no. He's going to do 12 rounds on the bag alone.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, fuck, that'd be hard.
Wow. Especially he's a fucking big body, too.
Yeah.
That was his problem, I think, early in his UFC career. They're like the first time he fought Stipe, he was just gassed after like 1 or 2 rounds.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that fight, but he was walking back to his corner, like barely getting there.
Yeah, I do remember that. But that's also like the wrestling exchanges.
Yeah,
something
for sure.
different to your arms.
Not something he's used to.
Did you do any striking before?
I boxed for like 2 years out of high school, and that was sort of initially it was just like football was over. I was trying to find a good way to stay in shape. I'd liked boxing a lot, and so I started doing that. But then I went to college, and then I don't know. My cardio has always been like probably one of my most like biggest problem areas, and I feel like if I wasn't training 6 days a week, like my cardio was just awful. So I took a little bit off of that, and then got into jiu-jitsu, and then just been doing that mostly since.
Did you wrestle growing up?
I wrestled my freshman year of high school, but that's it.
Oh damn.
Yeah. Did you wrestle growing up?
Yeah. I started wrestling when I was 10.
Okay. Wow.
So I wrestled for like 10 years.
How old are you now?
23.
Okay. Wow. All right. So you've been wrestling for a long time.
Yeah.
Wow. That's nice. wrestling is one of the best backgrounds you could have for MMA or jiu-jitsu.
I feel like whenever I start wrestling people, it's like if it's like a cheat code in some spots because you always just scramble better than the guy.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
You almost always land on top.
Yeah.
If you're better.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, well, that's a huge part of it because there's not like sweeps and the same way that there is in jiu-jitsu. So often wrestlers have great hips and like are great at just staying on top.
Yeah, yeah. And then I think in fighting too, like there's some dudes that get away from wrestling, like Justin Gaethje. Mm-hmm. He just strikes now.
Yeah,
but like
he just wants to stand and bang.
Yeah, but I think having the wrestling, like just knowing how to get really good at something.
Yeah,
and just taking it to another avenue.
It all depends on what your end goal is too, because maybe if Gaethje would have stayed strict with his strengths, maybe he'd have like a more successful career. Like if you look at like Georges St. Pierre, his like awesome. Like one of the reasons he's so great is because whatever his opponent was weak at, that's what he would exploit. So if he wasn't a great grappler, he'd just fucking lay and pray the whole fight.
Yeah. Well, so here's a question for you. Do you think so? How Francis did against Tyson Fury, but let's say like 35ers, not heavyweights. Let's say like the best striker, say like Sugar, like Petr Yan, Corey Sandhagen, someone like that. Goes and boxes like a Gervonta Davis.
Yeah.
Or you take some of the best grapplers like Aljo or like Umar.
Yeah.
And they had to do a grappling match against the best grapplers at that weight, like Josh DeCernos or like Tenquinho, like guys like that. Like, how do you think? Do you think they do better in the striking or that they do better grappling?
Wait, so what was the grappling part of it?
Well, just like the best grapplers in the UFC had to verse in a grappling match the best grapplers in the world. Or the best strikers had to verse the best boxers in boxing matches.
I think it depends on who it is because some people maybe have like excellent grappling, but different, like MMA grappling is different than just normal grappling. Yeah. Like guys who are jiu-jitsu experts aren't necessarily going to be great MMA grapplers. But I think like Khabib or like even like Charles Oliveira, those people I think they do very well against the top grapplers.
The Khabib Khabib was saying Islam was tapping. He's like he's submitting ADCC world champions.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say names, but he's submitting them in training right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, he says he's submitting them, but when you watch him go out and like grapple the way he does, you're like, he probably did.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean the way that they grapple in Dagestan, I mean that's. I don't know. I don't even know what they do differently, but they're fucking killers with it.
Yeah. So
yeah, I think the crossover to striking might be a more difficult one though, or especially if it's just boxing. Like if it was like the best boxer versus like a Sugar and kicks are allowed or something where they could stand in a different stance. I think the MMA fighter's going to win all day. But if you're talking about strictly boxing, the stance is different. You know, and like the movement with the head, the movement with the hands, it's just a different art.
Yeah, it is for sure. So, what you're saying about the Dagestan, like wrestling there?
Yeah.
So what I've heard is that because I know
you get into it with a bear from the young age.
Yeah. See, I know a few people that have went over there and wrestled and stuff, and they were saying that just everyone wrestles. That's more the difference than anything. Like you get in those wrestling rooms, like there's. More volume of like really good guys.
Yeah, maybe like everyone starts at like 6 years old. That's just you're old enough to do it. Now you'd start wrestling.
Yeah, like Bryce was telling me he went there and he's like, well, you go in the wrestling room and you're like, well, fuck, there's like 30 guys in here that are like as good as me. Yeah. Where in the US you'd never go in a room and there's like 30 guys as good as him.
Exactly. There's like maybe a handful of good wrestlers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I've also heard like you go to like an LA Fitness there. Like you go to like an LA Fitness here. There's like a basketball court.
Yeah.
And everyone just plays pickup games. That's just what people do. Huh. There's wrestling mats. And they just do pickup wrestling matches.
That's sick.
That's what they do for fun.
Wow. That's interesting. I wonder if grappling's going to get bigger in the United States, like as jiu-jitsu advances. I do think kind of like jiu-jitsu is leading that push to getting grappling to the general public. But it'd be cool to have jiu-jitsu in like high schools eventually. I heard it might be in the Olympics soon. Yeah. Like the more well-known, because like, I don't know. I started jiu-jitsu in 2015. I remember telling like, older guys that I would work with and stuff, and they're like, that's jiu-jitsu, or they're like, oh, so you're, fighting people. They think it's like a striking art. Like no one even knew what it was. Now I think the general public mostly knows what jiu-jitsu is, at least. So,
yeah. Jiu-jitsu is like, I feel like most people, they do it and they're like, oh, this is what I needed. This is awesome. Like, most people get like that. But then some people, they go in there and they just get brutalized, they're like, fuck, I'm never coming back.
Yeah.
Just shatters their ego.
I think that's something, it's good for men in general, because I mean, a lot of guys walk around with this sort of unearned bravado, thinking that, oh, if it were to go down, I could handle myself. But it's like if you've never played basketball before, you think you're gonna just fucking cross over some guy who trains or plays 5-6 days a week. It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, you know what that's called? It's called Dunning-Kruger effect.
Dunning-Kruger?
Yeah, that's like this one time I was reading this thing, like this article on it, and I was just like, I'm just gonna test this. It's just your lack of knowledge of something means you think you're better than you are.
Oh, okay.
So I say to my girl, I'm like, if we went to like the court and we just shot 3-pointers, and no one's guarding you, you just out of 10, how many would you make? She's like, it's like 7. I'm like, you just make 7? She's like, yeah, probably 7. I'm like, well, let's go tomorrow. She made 0 out of 10.
0.
And then we did 30, and she did 1 out of 30.
Okay,
wow.
Like,
you thought you get 7 out of 10, you got 1 out of 30.
Wow, huh?
But that's what most people think about anything, and it's way worse with fighting.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because like, I don't know, there's something maybe innate or like primal about fighting that it's like you feel like you don't need to learn how to do it, but it's so much technique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got friends back home, they're like, oh, dude, like if I fought, I'd knock him out. I'm like,
yeah.
You've never thrown a punch. Why do you think you could just knock someone out?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or you see people get into street fights like on fucking, just random like Instagram videos and stuff. And the technique that they're throwing is just so awful.
Yeah.
It's just so silly.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. You like, especially if you grapple and you get in a street fight, and it's one-on-one. It's one-on-one. You just take them down.
Yeah.
And you could do anything.
Yeah.
To someone, like, you roll with, like, a day 1 white belt.
Yeah.
It's like they don't know anything.
Yeah. I mean, and like from that day 1 white belt position, it's good to know how fucking vulnerable you are. You think that you'll do okay, but then you'll go and it'll be someone who's like half your size, 50 pounds lighter than you, maybe even out of shape. And just because they've have so much more mat experience than you, they could literally do anything with you.
Yeah. I remember when I first got into jiu-jitsu, I graduated high school, and then I went to college and I started rolling after I dropped out of college. I was only there for like 2 months.
In
I got
college?
back, yeah, and I was pretty good buddies with this one guy that I was training with back home, and we would like go cross train at this other gym, and he's like, no, they like super sick technique. This like older guy was like this like, technician there, so so me and my buddy go over there and we go train, and. So there's only 2 people in class. It's this old guy. He's like 55, 56, and he's like taped up ankles, taped up wrists, like just like beaten down pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think I'm a hot shot. I'm like, I'm like a state champ wrestler. I'm gonna come in here and like dog this guy. And then the other one there is like a middle-aged woman. She's like 41 years old.
Okay.
Just like mom bod.
Yeah.
And they both fucked me up.
Oh.
We're rolling the gi, and she just I didn't even know how to stop it.
Yeah.
I'd shoot in, just go right into guillotines, shoot right into triangles.
Yeah.
And I got subbed like so many times by both them.
Yeah.
And I left. I was just like, dude, I'm not near as tough as I thought.
Wow. And that's coming with a big grappling background too. You were state champ in high school? Wow. Where'd you go to high school?
I went to a high school in this small town called Hoopston, but it's in Illinois.
Oh, really? Is that where you're from?
Yeah.
That's where you grew up? Wow. Did they have a big wrestling like thing over there?
And Illinois is pretty big. Like I'd say, like every year I was in high school, all 4 years, Illinois won the nationals as a team.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Nice. That's cool. Why'd you move out to Arizona?
To fight.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. So you did wrestling in high school. Was jiu-jitsu your first thing outside of wrestling?
Yeah. So I did wrestling just like all like from like elementary through high school. Then after I dropped out, I was like, fuck, what am I gonna do?
Dropped out of college?
Yeah. After I dropped out of college.
Why'd you drop out of college?
I just couldn't hang, dude. I'm not a good student.
Yeah.
So then I was way behind on academic wise, and I honestly probably could have got through.
Yeah.
But I wasn't willing to work hard enough.
Yeah, you just didn't want it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I just didn't want it bad enough. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do something else. But I knew I wanted to compete and stuff. So then at first it was jiu-jitsu. I only did jiu-jitsu for like a year and a half, and I was like set that I was gonna move out here and fight.
Oh wow, why Arizona?
So I used to watch Sugar and Tim's podcast.
Oh, really?
And then I knew they were training at the lab and shit, so then I was like, I'm just going to do what they did. And then I had someone that used to coach me in high school that was training out here. And I was like, I hit him up, and he was like, yeah, you can come stay at my house for a week, see if you like it. I came out for 1 week, got my ass beat every day, and I was just like, yeah, I'm in.
I'm sold.
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. Wow. So how long between deciding and coming out here? Did you move? Did it take for you to move?
A month.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
sick. And so, what did you do when you got out here? Just like rented an apartment, just try to figure it out?
Yeah, so me and my girl moved out here together, but I had saved up a bunch of money because I was working as like a tree trimmer in Illinois, and I worked a bunch of overtime and stuff. I stacked a bunch of money in like a short amount of time. So we moved out, and then she got a job as a trainer, and then I was just training full time. And we lived in this tiny little studio, and
She's like a personal trainer? Wow.
yeah, so then.
She's just supporting you, just taking you under her wing.
Yeah, just sugar mama.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that's
So-
cool. How long have you guys been together?
Almost 5 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's really cool. Came out here following the same vision. Wow. And so you came out here, and was that your first experience with MMA?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I had done like sparring or something like back home, like a couple rounds with like no one good, but like maybe after like jiu-jitsu class, we'd throw on some gloves and
Yeah.
throw hands a little bit, but nothing really.
And now you train at the lab? Or like sort of a combo between Tim's gym and the lab?
Yeah.
Wow. And how long have you been out here?
It's about 2.5 years now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. How many fights have you had thus far?
4.
And what's your record?
4 now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's fucking sick.
Yeah.
It's good for you, man.
Yeah.
Dude, you're a tough roll. Like, I roll with a lot of people in Arizona. You're giving me a lot of problems. And I mean, like, I'm pretty dangerous for most people, and you're very tough. So I'm very excited for your future in MMA and in grappling.
Yeah. Thank you.
So what's your goal with it?
I mean, if I have like a goal, then I'm just gonna say. Well, honestly, I don't have a set goal. Like I really just, as long as I work hard every day, I get better and I do all the right things. I don't really care what happens. But I want to be UFC bantamweight champion and ADCC champion 65 kg.
Awesome.
That's my like end goals, both of them.
Wow, good. Well, it's good to have fucking goals that you're going after. Wow. So right now, you just amateur fighting?
Yeah, my next one will be my pro debut.
Nice. Do you have a date set for that?
I don't. I was looking for something in December, but I think it's probably not going to be till probably like February maybe now.
Wow. Do Nogi Worlds in December.
I want to.
Yeah.
Now, I also had I might get a match with, you'd know him, Keith Kokorian maybe?
Oh,
What's his
Keith?
name? Might be his name.
Is that his name?
Keith Kokorian. I don't know. He's supposed to be pretty tough, but I might have a match with him. But one of my buddies got the match, and then he was saying he might not do it, so then I might get it. But
Okay. Is that at the Arte Suave?
I don't know.
It's
like a week
here in
before.
Arizona?
Yeah, it's like a week before. the
Yeah,
Worlds,
I
I'm
think
pretty
it's
sure.
at Arte Suave. I think I saw that going around. I knew you were looking for a fight in December.
Yeah, and then there's a fight that card around the same time too. So right now I'm kind of just
Yeah.
open book on it still, but yeah.
Nice. That's cool.
So when did you move here, or are you from here?
Arizona, I've been here my whole life.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, my parents, my mom's from England and my dad's from New York. And my mom actually grew up near Illinois for most of her life. And then sometime, I think in her 30s or something, she came out here. My parents met out here. And then I've been born and raised in Arizona.
That's sick. What sports you do growing up?
Football mostly. Yeah, I think maybe I played high school or baseball in high school or something, but mostly football.
You feel you got any CTE from football?
Maybe it's in there. Yeah, I don't know. To be honest, I got like I probably got a little bit of CTE from boxing afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
After high school. And that's kind of another reason why I pulled back from like the striking arts and like just stuck in jiu-jitsu. Because at the time, like I was dating this girl and we had just a hard round of sparring. And the guy that I would spar with mostly, at this time I was probably weighing like around like 165-ish was my normal weight. And there was this guy that we would spar regularly. Like he was 205 or 210 or something, and just a wild man too. So we would go in and have like fucking scraps. And I remember afterwards, like after one day of hard sparring, like I was just undoing my laces and I'm just thinking there and I'm like, there's like fucking someone in my life that's like important. Like I'm like, what's it like? I couldn't think of like a name. I'm like, I just know there's someone. I'm like, oh my fucking God. And I just couldn't, I finally remembered her name and I'm like, what the fuck? I can't, how did I just completely forget like who she is? And so after that, I'm like, shit, I don't know if I want to do this my whole life.
Yeah,
Plus
it's not
also-
good for you.
Yeah.
I can feel it. Like sometimes I don't even really get hit that hard. Like we take good care of each other, like sparring
Yeah.
and stuff. But sometimes I just feel like this like headache after sparring. I'm like, dude,
Gosh.
this isn't good.
Yeah, there is a smart way to do it and a not smart way to do it. You can like touch each other and like get better just by, almost play striking. But if you're fucking, really throwing hands, it's really not good for you.
But that's boxing, right? What it's like. Boxing, you spar hard.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, it's probably worse than MMA because it's like only head damage.
Yeah.
I mean, you attack the body as well, but it's like primarily head damage.
I think like in MMA too, like I feel like MMA has like at the lab at least, I feel like we have like a brotherhood kind of like.
Yeah, you're not trying to hurt each
like
other.
Like grappling, that's how grappling is. You kind of get like a brotherhood.
Yeah.
I think boxing's more like, even if they're your teammate, they're not really your teammate because you're like, you don't really train together. You like do your mitt work and your bag work and shit. So you're kind of like, you come into spar and you're like, fuck this motherfucker. I'm about to fuck him up.
Yeah, exactly. And there's probably a spectrum between different gyms, but like that was basically it. I liked the guys that I trained with, but like instead of like in jiu-jitsu, you go to open mats and like you're boys with these people like fairly regularly. We would go to other gyms or other gyms would come to us and it was like a full-on fight.
Yeah.
Like when they came to, get different looks from different people. So yeah, big difference for sure.
Yeah. Boxing is kind of an old school sport too, right? Like a lot of their stuff's more like old school, like
kind of. I think just in general, it's just like probably not as popular, or I mean, just losing as far as like a trajectory for the future. MMA is like on a continued uprise, and boxing I think is declining. I think a lot of the like hardcore boxing fans are just an older generation of people, and if you're like a young guy like yourself, like would you try to just box for your whole life, or like would you? I don't know. I just feel like there's certain guys that are making a fucking ridiculous amount of money in boxing, but the 99.9% of them don't probably make like what an average UFC fighter makes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing where everyone talks about like fighter pay and stuff, but then I think like the lower rank guys in boxing probably don't make anything.
Yeah, I think like the middle to lower in MMA is still like these guys are making a living, which in boxing it's like, could you name anyone that's not in like the top 3 in like any division in boxing? I'm like, I don't really know that.
I only know big names in boxing. I don't really keep up with boxing enough, to be honest.
Yeah, me either. And that's another thing, too. It's not as exciting, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah. Did you watch the Fury Ngannou fight?
I watched that one.
Okay. Like, I mean, I didn't watch this one. I'll watch the great ones, but even those, it's like, I don't know. It's just not the same danger as like an MMA fight.
I feel like I like all the like combat sports. I could watch any of them. Like I could watch Muay Thai, I could watch whatever. But
yeah,
I think the only ones I'm really like actually excited to watch is MMA. I like watching jiu-jitsu, but I think it's because I understand jiu-jitsu and like wrestling better.
Yeah,
I watch a lot of wrestling, especially during wrestling season. But I think it's because I understand them better, so it's easier.
I think I think that in general, that's why like certain people aren't into like MMA at all. It's just because if you've never trained or tried any of it, it's some of it like, especially with the striking, you don't know like the finer details of what's happening, and then like once it goes to the ground, most people are just lost if they've never trained jiu-jitsu or
stand them up,
stand and bang, pussies.
You ever go to any like local fights here? That you'll hear that anytime someone's a takedown, people start booing, they're like stand them up, like right when they hit the ground.
I'm one of those people. You know? I've been doing jiu-jitsu for a long time, but like I don't know. I do like just for a fight. It is fun watching them stand and bang.
Watch, yeah.
No, I won't really stand it. I won't really say that, but I don't know. It just depends on the whole exchange of things.
Yeah.
Like it is for sure more exciting. Like the people who are like the like expert strikers versus the expert grapplers. Often it can lead in sort of a boring match.
Yeah, I think the best fights to watch are people that like aren't that skilled but are down to scrap.
Yeah,
that's like the best to watch.
Yeah, like who's that one guy that like Sean fought on like a super late notice where he just he lasted all 3 rounds but didn't move his head an inch.
It was Chris Moutinho.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That was a hilarious fight to watch. I think he probably landed like 300 strikes to the head. Just walked forward the whole match. Didn't move his head off the center line at all.
He just put his hands up and just walked straight into everything.
Every single thing. What a fucking chin that guy had, though.
Yeah. When you were growing up, was there any sick like street fights you seen as a kid, or were in, or anything?
We actually used to do like homie scraps is what we would call them, where we would like just get on MMA gloves and then go to the park and fight each other.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I think it probably wasn't too tactical.
MMA gloves though?
Yeah, MMA gloves,
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because we would do like MMA rules, like you could grapple and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, but like I know the Kimbo Slice fights were super popular when I was young. All that shit was happening at the time. I remember Kimbo fought that guy where his fucking like eye came out of his head.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That one was pretty bad.
that's pretty wild.
That was the one from the uppercut, right?
I think
uppercuts
so.
him.
Yeah. Yeah, he had pretty like legit striking with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty tough. And then we were seeing the one where he puts his hands down, he's just letting the dude tee off on him, and then he kills him. Yeah.
That's a high risk maneuver.
Yeah.
I see people do that in like Muay Thai fights and stuff, but sometimes people just get put unconscious.
That Rod Tang dude does it.
Yeah.
But he eats them somehow.
That's crazy. I don't know. I feel like it's almost the person who's hitting him is like fucking up there somehow. I feel like I don't care who you are in the world. If your just hands are down, you should be able to find a button on someone.
Dude, Jared Cannonier did that one of his fights. He just started walking at the dude, but hands down, just kept walking at him.
Yeah.
But he didn't let the guy hit him. He just leaned back like that, like just kind of like matrix him.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like, what was that fight with Max Holloway? Like in the last like 15 seconds of the fight, he's like, right here, just fucking standing and banging the whole time.
Yeah, that was sick.
That is sick.
I'm trying to think of a fight when I was growing up. I remember a few times some kids in my school, like they fought over like a girl and stuff, but they were just like, I remember one went to like one of my buddies, like his dad owned a business, and there was like a open like field with like a lake and stuff back there.
Yeah.
We all went back there, and like the whole school was there. Small town though, like whole school. They're like, come on, everyone's like, I was like my freshman year, and they come out, and there was one black kid and this white kid. The black kid was just way more athletic. And I remember what he did. He just like did this with his lead hand. He was just like doing this, and just this hand just cocked back and just smoked him and dropped him very first punch.
Oh no!
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Gosh, this was over a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, he smoked him. I remember like the dude falling. He didn't get knocked out, but he like kind of went stiff and fell, and then
damn,
he popped up and fell back down, and then everyone was just going crazy.
God, that's terrible. I wonder if the girl was like, all right, winner gets me.
Yeah, and then he just dropped out. The kid that lost, he dropped out of school. He's just like, no one's seen him again. Yeah.
God, that's the worst.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, certain things, you feel like it's the end of the world in high school. I remember this one time, this girl came to my high school, and she was like, she came to school pissed drunk and ended up shitting herself in class and was so fucking embarrassed she dropped out and went to a different high school.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think anything in high school. I got in my first fight when I was in high school. One fight.
Okay.
But it was so it's kind of like it's a little bit of a long story, but
Sure.
to make it a little shorter, it's just this. I was a sophomore in high school, and I was ranked number 1, like for like the rankings of like state
For
tournament.
wrestling.
For wrestling.
Yeah.
And then the kid so I ended up having bad grades. Like I said, I wasn't a great student.
Yeah.
Okay, so the week of sectionals, I had 2 Fs. So I was ineligible to wrestle four sectionals to go
Oh,
to state.
fuck, that sucks.
So then I was ineligible. And this other kid went on one state, whatever. But then he was just being a cocky fuck. And he was just like, remember when Instagram lives were first a thing?
Yeah.
I remember like he had a live going or something. And my buddy's like, dude, he's talking mad shit about Jonathan's live. So I go on there. And he's like, oh, you're a pussy. I'd fuck you up anyways, blah, blah, blah. So then I was with one of my buddies, and he's like, dude, I don't even care where he lives. We could go there tonight. I'm down. He's like, it'd be a good story anyways. I was like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm in. So I said, all right, send me your address, and we'll pull up.
Yeah.
So then he lives in Chicago.
Okay.
Okay, but I don't live
Is that a
anywhere.
far distance?
It was
for
like
you?
2 hours.
Okay, wow.
It was like 2 hours and 15 minutes. My buddy's like, I don't care. I'm in.
Wow.
It's like midnight already. We're not even going to get there till like 2
Oh,
a.m.
no.
And I'm like, fuck it. We can go.
Yeah.
So, and then he's on the phone. He's like, yeah, so like what style wrestling you want to do? I'm like, we're not wrestling. If I drive
Yeah.
2.5 hours, we're going to fight. He's
Yeah.
like, okay, I'll fuck you up anyways. So then we get there. And I remember the first thing I do, so we get there and they get like spotlights. There's like, we go behind his house and he gets like spotlight out. And he's got one of his buddies with me. I got one buddy with me. And they get the lights out. And the first thing I go for, never done any sparring, I go for a spinning wheel kick. It probably looks so bad, but I completely miss. And he starts sprinting at me, throwing crosses. Like just step, cross, step, cross. And I slip one of them and land right in a clinch. And I have an underhook. I just do that like head pinch. I knee him in the body and I headlock him. Like a full headlock. Land in like side control with the headlock.
Yeah.
I step over to mount. And I grabbed like an Americana on him.
Oh, no.
And he turned, gave up his back, and I just started elbowing him in the back of the head.
Oh, damn.
Like right in the back of the head. And then he started trying to stand up. Right when he stood up, I took his neck, and he fell straight back, and then I just choked him out. And I felt like I was the man.
Made the drive worth it.
Yeah, and then me and my buddy were just like acting like I was a legend the rest of the time. We were like, dude, you just fucked him up. You got to go take his bracket board.
Damn. Wow. And this kid was a wrestler as well?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Huh.
Yeah. He ended up being a 3-time state champion. Actually, pretty good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah.
He actually came and trained at Tim's like last year.
Oh, no way. Really?
Yeah, because he hit me up.
You guys trained together?
Yeah. So he hit me up and was like, "Oh, dude, I'm in town." And then I told him stop in at Tim's, so we did some training over at on Friday at Comp Browns.
Was it like on site when you saw him, or you guys are cool now?
No, we're cool now.
Nice.
Yeah, it was squashed. It was squashed after, but yeah. Kind of cool story.
Nice. That's funny. Did you record it?
I did, but it's
lost
long
in the ether
down now. Yeah, it was like filmed it like 2016, 2017.
Damn, that's wild. Did you get in a lot of fights in high school?
That's my only one. That's my only fight I think I've ever really been in outside the cage.
Oh, really? Huh. What made you want to get into MMA besides just you wanted to compete and like, is that it?
I honestly couldn't really tell you. I know when I was younger, I used to be like, "Oh yeah, after I'm done wrestling, like I'll probably fight." But it was always just like I was kind of saying it, and then after I got out of high school and stuff, and I was working a job, I was like, I don't want to work, and I was like, I could figure out something else. And then I just thought if I put my all into training, and within a few years, I'll be able to make money doing it.
Nice. Do you make money at amateur fights at all? No, it's only at pros. And even at the beginning at pro, it's not much.
Yeah, not much.
Do you have like a set organization you're going to fight under for your first pro fight?
No, honestly, I don't want to really sign to anyone at first. I just want to see. I try to keep getting like fights in. If I can keep getting them in, then
is that what they typically try to do? Sign you to an organization, so you have like X amount of fights you got to do under that organization.
Yeah, because like say something like the LFA. LFA is a pretty good promotion. They would sign you, and they'd be like, "Okay, we'll give you 3 fights a year," which is good because that's probably all you'll fight anyways. Is 3 times. But let's say we'll guarantee you 3 fights a year. But they want it because it's another name. If they can get you to the UFC, it's another name that they've added.
Came from LFA. Interesting.
Yeah. But I'm gonna try to keep my options open. I've never fought for the same promotion twice so far, even so
it's 4 fights, 4 different promotions. Interesting.
Which I think is kind of cool, just because I get different. I've fought in different spots.
Yeah.
I've never fought in the same venue twice, so it's kind of a different experience every time.
Yeah. Have your fights been in Arizona, or you travel for them, or?
I had 1 in Texas, I had 1 in Vegas, and then I had 2 in Arizona.
Wow. So the travel too, it's like a big expense just even getting out there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why. But usually for fights they'll pay for that stuff. But
okay, well even for amateur fights. Oh wow, well that's
cool.
Like
they paid for my plane tickets and everything if I've had it, or like my gas money when I drove to Vegas and stuff.
Nice.
So I mean, it's not like a in the hole kind of thing, but
yeah,
it's still like fighting's hard. Like, the whole camp's really hard, and then the weight cut is even harder.
Yeah.
And then you still have to go fight a dude in the cage, and then you get done, and you're like, I did that all for free.
Yeah. Yeah. That's just how it is at the beginning. You're not going to get paid for something until you prove yourself.
Yeah.
So, what, you fight at 135? What, you said you typically walk around at 165?
No, like 55.
155? Okay, that's still pretty light.
Yeah,
but that's a lean 155 too. It's not like you're heavy at 155.
Yeah, I have some buddies walking around like they fight 35s and they're like 173, 174.
Wow, that's crazy. At some point, it's not healthy if you get too low.
Yeah.
It's almost better to do a slightly heavier weight and something that just your body can manage better.
Yeah, whenever I get down to like really my weight doesn't really get any lower. Like when I start doing my weight cut and stuff, I'll get down to like 48. I don't get much lower. Like from there, I'm doing like the water basically after that.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it goes. Yeah, it's just not good for you. I know I was training at Golden Era Muay Thai for a little bit just last year because I injured my leg and I had this I actually had a staph infection in my leg that had to be cut out. And the fucking surgeons with it like cut in the wrong location, and so I've got this like 6-inch by 1-inch scar that was a scab for 6 months, and so I couldn't grapple with a giant scab like that, especially when it was an infection. So I started doing Muay Thai over there, and there was this kid that I think it actually just happened sort of fairly recently after I joined. It was a kid who went to, I want to say Mexico for a fight for some belt. It was like the championship fight, and he went down there. like did this massive weight cut, massive water cut, won his fight, and then 2 days later he died.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, the weight cuts, literally, it's like you're trying to kill yourself.
Yeah.
Especially the MMA ones, because like say in jiu-jitsu, when it's the same day, you're not going to get quite as low as you normally would. You're
No,
not gonna do
you
all
can't.
That.
Yeah, otherwise
Yeah.
you're going to be completely drained.
Yeah.
Although ADCC does the day before, so some guys really push it.
I thought some of the guys I've rolled with, they look pretty big.
Yeah.
Jeez, dude, like
Yeah.
way bigger than I am.
Right. Yeah. Well, you did ADCC Arizona, right? Mm-hmm. And what did you do? The 66 kilo on that one?
Yeah.
Nice.
That wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
And that was day before too. It's like wasn't too.
So
hard.
145 and day before, right?
I think that one might have even been a little lower than 45 though. I think it was like 43.8 or something like that.
The opens are like a kilo off to like what the normal ADCC is.
Yeah, I think the ADCC is more than what I competed at. I could be wrong. I feel like it's 45 for ADCC. I think it's 145.1.
You're probably right. I'm not sure what that one is. I know in mine, like on the opens, I think it's 76 kilos, and on the official ADCC, it's 77.
That's the weight with that's the one that Cade won last time?
Yes. Yeah, in Mexico, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then 77.
So I'm like 169, I think is what it is at 77. It's like 168.4 is 76. And then you're allowed like a 1.1 kilo allowance, which is like almost a pound, I think.
So then like the big guys that way, that's like Nicky Ryan and Cade Rotolo won the ADCC.
At 77?
And Mika Gaval, right? At 77? Was that 88?
I think it was 77. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this last year. Yep. And then what's his face won? I forget his name. He beat Nicky Ryan in the Open just on the West Coast trials just now.
The Dorsey.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, which was really impressive. He was like
he beat him by that takedown, right? It was the takedown.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in the finals, like once the points started. Mm-hmm. It's an interesting rule set, the ADCC rule set.
Yeah,
I do like it because it's like sub only and points tournaments.
Yeah,
yeah.
I feel like the like smart thing to do sometimes is wait. You almost gotta stall. Well, if you're like good wrestler, maybe just stall the whole beginning and then get the takedown right in point start.
Yeah, exactly. Or be like almost on a pass and then finish the pass once the points start.
Yeah.
Although like the idea of that sounds doable, and then the actual implementation of it is pretty difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be like waiting, because also too, if you're trying to actually beat the person, you don't want to wait on exchanges. It's difficult to find openings. Yeah.
I get going like when I start going too. Like I just try to like pace people. Sometimes I'll start like, putting a pace on them. So
yeah. It's a good strategy. We were talking about it last time we trained that kid Dorian. That he's got that game plan of basically like circle the guard, engage as soon as someone starts even getting a guard or anything, disengage completely, and then recircle, reattack.
Yeah, and honestly, what he does, nothing's really that like advanced. He's like circling in a wrestling stance around their guard. But he's doing it really fast, and he's going really hard, so they're like just overwhelmed.
Yeah, and it's just a nonstop pace. Yeah, and then from the bottom position, it's much more tiring to. I mean, he's doing a great job of just maintaining that pace, but it's fucking tiring to like stop the circle, and then anytime you try to engage, he just disengages completely and then recircles.
Yeah, the trying to do stuff like that though, to like the Aries guys.
Yeah,
their guards are so sick. It's tough.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, in no-gi's a little bit easier, I think, than in gi, because like once you get like do you train in the gi at all?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Doesn't really
align with the goals.
I mean, I train in the gi like I would say once every 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I prefer no-gi for sure. Yeah. But it's more difficult to like once you engage, someone grabs a grip and then you're just kind of stuck there.
Are you a black belt?
I'm a brown belt.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long you been a brown belt?
I've been a brown belt for, it's a good question. Maybe 18 months now, like a year and a half. Yeah.
I think that's probably when I got my purple around there too.
Oh, really? Nice. Okay. And so, yeah, who gave you your purple?
John Crouch at the MMA lab.
Okay. So is that like when you'll get promotions and whatnot, is training in the gi over there?
And then, like I said, I'm not the most consistent in the gi. So
yeah.
And then, I remember when I got my blue, I had my blue or I was only a white belt for a year, and I was only a blue belt for a year. And then I've been a purple belt for like a year and a half.
Okay. Well, it's pretty solid progression. Like having a wrestling background is the biggest. I mean, like sometimes a white belt will come in and like yourself was like a former state champion or something. Like they're not your average white belt that comes in.
Yeah. It's like you get to start with like cheat codes in a video game. It's not really that fair because like any other like day one white belt, the wrestler's gonna kill him. It's not really fair.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, exactly. Like who's that kid that trains at Tim's place sometimes? He comes in with like wrestling shoes and an Iowa like T-shirt. He's like shorter guy. I don't know
I'm
if
trying
I know
not
his
to
name.
forget his name right now because I talked to him. Brody Teskey.
Okay, yeah, Brody. Huh, nice.
Yep. Yeah, he's pretty sick. He wrestles at Iowa.
Oh yeah,
For the
I know.
Hawkeyes,
Yeah, he's fucking sick wrestler.
Yeah, he is.
He does that thing where like you like try to post on his head and he uses his head to grab your post.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Bryce, we've got to roll Bryce before. Bryce was an NCAA finalist.
Oh really? Huh.
Yeah,
I'm trying
2
to remember.
times.
I'm so bad with names. I'm trying to remember who Bryce is.
Bryce is like,
Did he train at Tim's on Mondays and Fridays?
yeah, he hasn't been real recently, but I feel like you've probably definitely rolled with him. He has like a beard. He's got a beard.
That narrows it down.
Yeah, I know. He's a white guy with a beard.
Nice.
Yeah, everyone else there.
Yeah.
But Bryce is like if you went with him, you'd know he's just got really good wrestling. He's like he was a NCAA finalist 2 times.
Wow.
And he lost his last year. He lost like in like the last 30 seconds of the match to Yanni Diakomahalis, who's like 4-time NCAA champ. So
Wow. Huh.
yeah, he's pretty sick. I mean, if you wrestle with him,
Yeah.
he's probably not going to be able to take him down.
Wow. Huh. Yeah, that's sick. I'd like to work on my wrestling more. It's cool. Like certain places, like Element, will do like wrestling classes where it's like wrestling rules. You wear your wrestling shoes on Mondays. I like doing stuff like that just to work your strictly wrestling. Because you try to work your wrestling in jiu-jitsu, and like I often do. Like that's actually what I sort of defaulted to when I was when I first started jiu-jitsu. For the first basically to like middle purple belt, like I only would stand and wrestle, try to pass the guard, and then I got to the point where in competition I'd go against like a fucking sick wrestler, and they were better at wrestling than me, but my guard wasn't good because that was just not part of my strategy. So I sort of tried to switch and then try to work my guard a lot more, and that's just sort of turned into like attacking a lot of leg locks.
The leg locks is the best, right? It has to be because you sweep on at most, like, or at worst, you always end up getting a sweep, or you could come back up if you want.
Exactly. And like for a wrestler willing to engage with you, it is a great way because like on a good leg entanglement, you're controlling the hips and it's difficult to escape too. So yeah.
I know a couple weeks ago you had me in that. I don't even know what it's called. It's like
a Texas cloverleaf.
It's like it's like where you get your hand in and you got like the it's like a calf slicer almost, but it's not. It's like you enter the legs, but your legs are wrapped around my leg and you got like your arm in there.
You got both the legs and like the legs are crossed?
No, you got one of my legs and you're like just like it's like you're blowing like this, like the knee out because your arm's in here and then your legs are wrapped.
Okay. I know what you mean. It's actually a calf slicer, but
it's like a calf slicer.
Yeah, it's just from a different angle.
Yeah, that one hurts. I'm like sitting there, I was like pushing my legs together. I was like, this fucking hurts.
That one, it's difficult. I think it's like maybe the angle of my forearm is what I would need to change. It's actually difficult to like develop any sort of like break-in pressure because
it's hard to finish that one. Yeah.
It's tough to finish that one. With someone who like, I guess a low pain tolerance, you could get taps with that one. But with like a typical calf slicer, you can actually blow out the knee. Like from that position, it's tough to blow out the knee.
Yeah. Have you seen that one where like Benson does this one? He'll give his back, give you the calf slicer on purpose, knowing you'll reach for it. He's baiting on you reaching wrong because you reach like this, and then he grabs that arm bar.
Yeah, the arm bar from the calf. That's a risky one, though.
Yeah, it's risky.
If you don't get it, or if they fucking reach correctly.
Or they reach the right way. Yeah. But he doesn't feel like anything like that's weird.
Huh.
Have you ever got a roll with Benson before?
No, I don't. We were actually matched up to go together first round of the Absolutes at the ADCC Arizona. But he pulled out because he was just done for the day.
Yeah. So he just doesn't feel Kimuras, leg locks, anything where you're cranking his legs or his arms or anything. Like I've never seen him tap to anything. He could get like put in like a full arm bar.
No way.
It's the craziest thing. I don't know. Even most chokes, like you get him in a choke and then he's just like the toughest guy through a choke. Like unless he's about to actually go out. Like,
yeah.
he's like, we'll wait last second on any choke.
I do like training with those type of people that you have to like 99% put them to sleep to tap them, or you've got to like be in a position where you can like break them to tap them.
That's like some of his strategy. Like at ADCC, like at the Open here, he like would shoot in knowing they'll grab the guillotine, and then let them burn themselves hard on a choke, knowing he's like trusting his defense that he'll get out. But he puts himself in the position like
it's an interesting
always.
strategy. I saw Gary Tonin recently made a post about like in so many of his matches, you might have seen it before. Like he'll like stick his head out completely like this, baiting a guillotine, and then do like a sit through to take the back from there. Because like that's one of the things that's more difficult. Like the higher level you get, it's tough to get people to actually engage. No one wants to take the risk, especially in a points tournament when like you taking a risk could end up being negatively scored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, well, so jiu-jitsu seems a little better than wrestling with like some of the how scores get called. Because in wrestling, like in freestyle wrestling, say you shoot in on me and I wrap and throw you backward, right? It could be 4 points you, and sometimes it's 4 points me.
Why is that?
I'm supposed to change your direction, so I'm supposed to take you one way or the other. But sometimes people just go straight back. But sometimes you'll get the 4 points for the double A because you shot it. Sometimes the guy that rolls the other guy will get the 4 points. And that's big shifts when you're talking like world level guys.
4 points is a huge score. A 4 point score is like over the top of you at all, right? Anytime it's like over the top.
It's feet to back. Anytime you take someone from their feet to their back, it's 4.
So it would be scored on the person shooting if you just go straight over the head, but if you go over a shoulder, it could be scored to you.
That's how it's supposed to be. But sometimes it's really like, if you play it in slow motion, maybe they do kind of take them over a little bit. Then real speed, maybe it didn't look like they did. It's weird. One thing that I think is really weird, that it's not just wrestling. It's anything. You probably roll with someone like this, but there's people that aren't that good in the room. You're like, that guy's not that good. He's okay, but he's not that good. And then they're killers in competition.
Yeah.
And whatever that is, like not saying names or anything, but I've heard that some of the guys at like Penn State, if you know who David Taylor is, like he's like the best. He's the best, right? Like in the whole world, like pound for pound right now. And they say like he's not that good at practice. Like, oh, he's gotten beat. Like if you do like practice matches for the worlds, like he lost practice matches. Like I've seen people get ready for their UFC fights and they might not even win a round in the room, and then they have their best performance and they kill the guy. It's like pretty crazy how people can switch that flip that switch. I mean,
do you think that's more so than maybe putting themselves in bad positions purposely in training, or do you think that's just maybe being able to compete at a high level when other guys maybe feel the pressure?
I don't know if it's that like they're trying things in practice, and then they're like, I'm just sticking to my stuff when they're in competition, or it's that they just maybe the people they're training with kind of know them better too. It could be that. It could be a lot of different things, but
because I've heard that about Gary Tonin, that he'll get tapped out regularly in training, like at the Blue Basement when they were in New York. Like people would just come in randomly and tap him out fairly regularly, but like it would be him purposely putting himself in bad positions.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I almost feel like it's like some people just got like they're gamers.
Yeah,
they're just like when the lights are on, like they're a different person.
Yeah, it's down to fucking go. Competition is a mindset. Like it's a different type of mindset, and I think like your confidence and your like ability to control your mindset in competition can have a massive effect on your performance.
Yeah, I feel like it's like they almost have like the alter ego kind of thing.
Yeah,
like when you're like you're just a different dude when it's time to step up.
Because the guy who doesn't perform well in training but kills it in competition, I think that's incredible. But I'd say probably what's more common is the guy that's a killer in training but can't put it together in competition.
That's way more common.
Yeah, way more common. I think it's maybe the nerves or just not being able to, put it all together when it comes time.
Yeah. Or like just one thing I'll say, so I went with Sugar to Boston when he fought Aljo.
Yeah.
And just seeing how he prepares for a fight and like mentally, he's very like he's very good at just being in the moment.
Hmm.
And I'd say maybe that's why he competes so good. Like, is that he gets right where his feet are. Like he's nowhere else. He's like right in the moment.
Yeah.
No matter what. And I think maybe some people think they're doing that, but he does it to another level.
And so, what does his preparation look like?
Like when we were there, like for fight week and stuff, like I think a lot of people during the week, they still feel like they need to push it. And they're like hitting mitts hard and they're wrestling hard and they're still trying to do things hard.
Yeah.
Because they have a fight coming up and they're like amped for it. He did not much. Like way less than I've seen anyone else do for being on fight week.
Like for the fucking belt too.
Yeah, like he's like very calm. Just he'd hit a little bit of mitts, maybe work out 15, 20 minutes a day. Super like just calm. Like he has just a calm energy to him. And then actual fight night, when we're in the back, hit the mitts a little bit, and you just sit there and meditate. I don't know who else probably. I don't think Aljo was in his corner probably meditating. He's probably like getting himself hyped, you know.
Yeah.
But not Sugar. He was just like, just tuned in.
Wow, that's interesting. You know, when I watched that fight in between rounds, Tim, one of the things that he said that was really surprising to me was like, he didn't say like, oh, you need to switch this, do this. He was like, we're on the stool right now. Like here we are, we're on the stool. Like he was bringing him to the present moment and sort of exactly like kind of what you're saying, just staying in the moment.
Yeah,
That's really interesting.
And I think like obviously he's got the skills, but I think a lot of people have like good skills, but they just get out of their element.
Yeah. Or the people who just really hone the mindset, like have another level of success. Sort of like the Conor McGregor, like unwavering belief in himself throughout his career. I think that's like what propulsed him to the top. Was a massive factor had to be the mindset.
Yeah, and then so like here I feel like we have a lot of good like people. It's like Sugar's training with like killers all the time. I've heard like Conor when he was coming up, like I don't even know who he was training with.
Yeah,
he was the only guy on his team that was in the UFC.
Yeah, when he fought Nate Diaz, he's like, I'm training with the best boxers in the world. I'm training with the best people in the world. He's playing fucking touch butt in the park with that nerd.
Yeah.
If you remember at that time, he was doing a lot of like movement stuff with that. I think his name's like Portal Ido or
Edu Portal.
Ido Portal, yeah, which was super interesting. But I mean, he had a massive success with that.
Yeah, we stole that one. They do a drill. It's like a shoulder tag. We kind of stole that, but it's actually pretty good. It's good for like your eyes instead of like actually getting hit in the head.
Oh, you're trying to touch each other's shoulder?
Yeah, like that. They did it, but like it's like almost like you're trying to punch each other in the shoulder instead of the face. But you're just playing like.
And that way you have to like slip the shoulder and whatnot.
And it's good for your eyes.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I mean, there must have been something to it for sure. I think his dedication to like improvement of, I mean, he talked about it a lot, like movement. Well, he was just obsessed with movement, and so his dedication to that is like had to be a huge part of his success.
You know, I think it's kind of weird. Is like, isn't he just completely a different person completely now?
Yeah,
just not even the same guy at all.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I'd like to say that type of money, I'd remain the same person, but you never fucking know. You come from poverty to literally like. Anything is free, basically.
Yeah.
You know, you could buy any jet. The guy's probably worth at least $500 million. You know, you could probably, fucking buy a jet, buy like any house, buy any car, buy any restaurant, fly anywhere you want. I mean, anything in your life you want, you can have. Coming from complete poverty to that level of just like superstardom, fame, and richness. I don't know. It's got to have an impact on your mindset.
Yeah, he's got like endless power.
Yeah, it's honestly good on him for continuing to fight because like there'd be a lot of people that once they got that check, they're done. They're done with it completely. And he could have left it. After the Floyd fight, he became the double champ. He came. Whatever, however good that fight was with Floyd, now he's fucking super rich. Just check out from there.
I probably would have sailed off after that one. Peace, boys.
Yeah, you never know, but he didn't. He came back and fucking fought Khabib. And who knows if he would have taken that fight a little bit more seriously. He was drinking fight week. He was like drunk at one of those pressers and just not taking it seriously at all. And then he even won a round that fight when they say that might be the only round Khabib lost in his career.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty crazy. Like that's like the Habib and Islam both. Like it's kind of crazy though. Like when someone does good against them, they get written off pretty bad.
Yeah.
Like when there was a close fight with Volk and Islam the first time.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of just acted like Islam wasn't as good as.
Yeah.
Like, no, that was like Volk's pretty good. He fought a really good fight.
Yeah.
But like, oh no, he's not like that Dagestani. So like, people are figuring it out.
Yeah.
Like, I still don't
He's
think
not
so.
that good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah, they're incredible. Volk is just incredible as well. You know, obviously that was a baked in excuse, like him taking the fight on 9 days' notice.
Yeah.
But like, I would have loved to see like a full fight camp again against him.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I feel like that's the thing with like growing grappling though. Do you think that people that don't do it would ever be as excited as they are for an MMA fight?
Probably not as excited, although I think there's enough. There are exciting matches that even if you're a non-training spectator, I think you could have fun watching it. I think part of it does come to like implementing some sort of like education to the crowd, like so they at least understand like what the rule set is or what like the guys are going to. But I think you can have a lot of fun time even if you've never experienced it before.
Yeah, you know, I feel like we were saying, like it's definitely growing a lot.
Yeah.
But like sometimes I wonder, I'm like, do I think it's growing a lot because I'm in it?
Yeah.
Like, is there like a community like frisbee golf and like frisbee golf's on the rise, but like I don't realize
you have
it.
no clue.
Yeah, because I'm just not in that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I'm trying to think of like something that, like if I saw, or even like a sick frisbee golf thing, like if I saw like someone hit like just a hole in one that's from, you know, between some trees, like that's sick.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I still wouldn't watch it though.
Yeah, like you might have an appreciation for like the shot, but it's more like a highlight on Instagram. Oh, that was cool.
Yeah, exactly. Huh? Or maybe like what about what's it called? Like sumo wrestling. Like I'd have no clue like what the rule set is or anything like that. But if you see some two guys scrap at it,
Yeah.
I guess if it was like if I was in the area and I would like go see a sumo
Yeah.
match, I wouldn't have to necessarily know what's going on.
Yeah, I feel like the things like people's attention is less too. Like now, I feel like people have smaller attention spans, because even people that like do like grappling and like MMA and stuff, some people don't even watch it.
Yeah.
And I feel like because like it's so much easier to just see like a highlight video.
Yeah.
Or you're just like see some shit on Instagram when you're scrolling.
Yeah.
But because like our attention spans are like way less now.
Yeah, exactly. With like TikTok and Reels and everything, there's just like you want 30-second bursts of like excitement.
And I'm like guilty of it too. Like sometimes like my girl throw on like a movie and then she'll just like get pissed at me. She's like, "Why are you on your phone?" I was like, "I don't know. It got boring because it just gets boring." Like,
yeah. It is like an addiction. It's something that you have to like regulate within yourself.
it's bad.
Yeah, because you can become like addicted to it without quite realizing.
Yeah.
It's just like a little dopamine hit. And what's crazy, it's like, I've thought about this before. It's like, you know, 20 minutes of scrolling for all of a sudden you find this one that's fucking hilarious. And you're like, oh my God, that's hilarious. And then like, that's what like keeps you going like through it. It's like that dopamine hit when the majority of the time you're scrolling, it's really not all that interesting. It's sometimes like, what's going on there? What's this? But it's like all like 1 in 10 or 1 in 15 is a really great piece of content. You're like, oh wow, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
And then you keep going from it.
Yeah. And then like now too, there's like what I think is kind of crazy is like there's kids growing up and they want to be YouTubers.
Yeah.
But like even when I was growing up, like just isn't even that long ago, I was just like, I don't think anyone I grew up with was like, I want to be a YouTuber.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a career path like in our head.
Yeah, or they want to be a TikTok star, or they want to be, because you see people doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, also too, it's weird. Like I grew up like, do you know how old you were when like the first iPhone came out? So
No.
you're 23, you said? So it would be like, I was freshman in high school when the first iPhone came out. So
Was there social media?
maybe no, MySpace was the thing back then before. But even MySpace, it was like you had to be at a desktop computer. You had to like, it's just not even the same.
Just on
as
the school
having,
computer, sliding DMs on MySpace.
Like changing your top 5. You'd have like a top 5 friends and whatnot, and like a song that would play when people would go to your page. And then like sometime in high school, Facebook got popular, but like it wasn't until the internet was in your phone or in your pocket where that like I think all of that just exasperated. But what I'm thinking is like these fucking you'll go to like at a restaurant or something, and it'll be like a 2 or 3 year old on an iPad, like
Yeah.
just like I feel like we're just priming
That
young
doesn't
kids.
look like. I always think that looks bad. Like in my head, when I see kids like really young on iPads, I'm like, that's just not good for them.
Yeah, because if it's addicted for adults, I feel like it's a priming these young kids' brains for just like dopamine hits. And I'm curious, like that iPad kid that starts at when they're 2 years old, when they're like 16 and first like try cocaine or like have
Yeah.
access to real drugs, they already almost have like a preset for being an addict.
And not only that, like I feel like maybe I am speaking out of like context, or I shouldn't say this. Like my little brother is like who I'm talking about when I say it's like his generation. He's a senior in high school, so he's like 17. Okay, so the people that are like 17 right now, like
Yeah.
18 to like 16.
Yeah.
So sometimes when I go back home and I to Illinois, like for like Christmas and stuff, I'll stop in at the wrestling room and I'll
Yeah.
come help out and coach and roll with the guys and stuff. And I literally think all of them are awkward compared to older people.
Yeah.
Like they're more socially awkward, like way more than
Yeah.
people even my age. And then people older than me, I feel like I'm socially awkward compared to like people you're like your age.
Maybe there's a spectrum of that, but maybe that has to do with technology, but maybe that also has to do with just becoming older and like just more comfortable with yourself.
That could be it too, but I think this, okay, because I grew up like me and my girlfriend from the same hometown and like stuff like that, so it wasn't hard to talk to her. But I think when I was younger, Snapchat robbed me of my ability to talk to girls because I was so like a keyboard warrior. Like I
Yeah.
could like say I could be the man on the phone, and that's how I think everyone is. That's how people are like now with like Tinder, like dating apps.
For
They're
sure.
like,
Yeah.
because you can be so brave behind a phone.
Yeah.
And
But
then
go
you-
actually talk to that
Yeah.
girl and spit game in person. It's a different game.
Yeah, and then when you're actually like it, like I think it's funny, like my buddies that are like single or something, like watching them like hit on girls or something. Like they'll like talk so much game on a phone, and then we're like all hanging out or something at a club or something, like try to get them to do something, and they're just
Just won't even shoot the shot.
like the meme where like
Just-
the dude that's like when you're in high school with your buddies and he's like the guy that's always like where the bitches at, and then it's like him when the bitches get there, and there's like the guy that's sitting with his head down.
Yeah, or just like in the club, like looking on their phone.
Yeah.
Just not. I think social media definitely has influenced that some. I mean, one thing that I thought about is like I almost sort of look at before phones existed in a, like not a nostalgic way, but like almost like a envious way of like what could have been or what it must have been like. Because imagine the difference between like shooting your shot on a random girl before phones existed. Before
Yeah.
phones existed, you had to go up, talk to a girl, make a good impression, then set a date to meet each other right fucking then.
Yeah.
Figure out somehow we're going to contact the other person again. Right then, you got to figure it out. And then when that date comes next week or whenever, you just hope they show up. You go, there's no like texting them, hey, we still on for today? You just go. And in the event that it does work out, you shoot your shot, it goes well, you set this date, the date comes, you go, you meet up. Imagine how exciting that feeling is, that like, wow, this person cares. They think that like, we did this and had no communication in this week leading up to it versus like, hey, what's your Snapchat, girl?
Yeah.
And then also too, even from the girl's perspective, because of dating apps and all of this, all they have to do is download it, and there's like 400 guys like in their DMs, like trying to do this, or just post a fucking bikini pic on Instagram, and there's 400 guys. So they almost have this illusion of like infinite options too, when in reality, probably a lot of them are just looking to have sex and not really do anything. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. What a difference between that time and now.
Yeah, see, I think back then, that's why, like, people, that's, like, I feel like how people fell in love, because there's, like, so much more went into it
Yeah.
than, like, now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a complete difference. How did you meet your girlfriend?
I've known her since I was probably, like, 6 or 7 years old.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Huh, you just, like, grew up in the same neighborhood or something?
Well, so I'm from, like, a really small town, so everyone knows everyone. But,
Yeah.
so some of my best friends are, like, her cousins.
Okay.
I used to go play, like, backyard football and stuff, and she'd be over there. But, like, so, like, I've known her forever. Like, we've been, like, friends and stuff, but then I think we got older.
Huh.
And then, like, we ended up becoming something.
Huh.
What about you? When did you get with your girl?
Actually, earlier this year.
Earlier this year, nice.
Yeah, earlier this year we met at a jiu-jitsu competition. And we met at High Rollers in downtown Phoenix.
Does she roll?
Yeah, she's a blue belt. Yeah. So she was actually competing that day. And so I went to go coach my buddy, and then she was there, and we just started talking, and her coach wasn't going to be there that day, so I was actually going to coach her, but like I had to leave to go to do a podcast. It was like the first podcast I ever did. My buddies, the BJJ Foxcast, we were going to do it that night. So unfortunately I couldn't coach her, but like I was just there to coach my buddy Freddie. Like she saw me fucking yelling at him like a psycho, and like still liked me. And yeah, it's been super cool that we met in like this such an organic way, that we just like started talking to each other. Like every free time that I wasn't coaching or doing something, I'd go back and start talking to her, and then ask her if she wants to eat food right now and all this. And we just met in a super organic way. We like got each other's phone numbers. We talked like later that week. We like started hanging out, and we've just been sort of like off and running like almost immediately.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah.
Did you have any bad relationship experience before? Like,
you know, I've actually been mostly single since I was like 22 years old. So I like, I guess my high school girlfriend like ended up pretty badly, especially the last time that we talked to each other.
Crazy high school girlfriend?
Yeah. Like we were together for maybe like over a year in high school. We like broke up, and then we were sort of like off and on at the beginning of college. And then I was at this place in Tempe, and my house got fucking shot at, and like two guys like did a drive-by and fucking shot the house like 9 times. And so we didn't stay in that house anymore, and so I moved in with her for like a week, and at the end of that week it just went so bad. She like went through my phone and saw me texting another girl, and it was like the most like blood-curdling screaming you could imagine. That is like how we ended that. And I just moved out of my shit like literally that night, and that was like basically the last time we talked to each other. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say she was like a stalker, like she like follows you like, later on or something. That's not quite as bad, I guess.
Yeah, no, nothing like that. It was just like a very unhealthy break, you know. But that's how it goes. What about you? You have crazy girl experiences?
No, not really. But I feel like I got some buddies that got like. They're just as guilty though. Honestly, they're just as guilty as the girl. But
yeah,
back where like I'm from, I feel like it was funny just because in a small town like that, everyone ends up getting with like everyone.
Yeah. How many people in your town?
5,000.
Okay. Huh. Yeah. In like the whole city. Oh wow, that is a very small town.
Yeah. So then like I have friends that would date a girl, and then they'd break up, but then like one of our other buddies would start dating her and stuff, and it just caused a lot of drama.
Yeah.
And then
just not that many options. What else are you supposed to do?
Yeah, and I just remember just like buddies getting in some scraps with each other, just like girls being crazy. I don't know, dude. It was a lot, honestly, but it was funny. Just now thinking about it now, it's funny. But back at the time, I remember like, dude, I don't know, it's pretty crazy. Like, or like we'd be like to some of our buddies and shit, like always like taking sides between two. Yeah. But it's always over a girl or something small.
That's just how it goes. What's it like growing up in a small town? I grew up in Phoenix with like fucking 5 million people over here, so it must be a different experience. Or what's it like, I guess, living in a big town versus living in a small town?
So like. Honestly, it doesn't feel too different just because, okay, it's different in the way that, like, out here the weather is way nicer. And then...
It's just cold as shit over there.
Yeah. And then there's just, like, options to, like, go to, like, Sprouts and, like...
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just, like, different, like, food places, restaurants. Like, there's, like, anything you'd want to do. Out here, there's way more, like, outdoors. If you just drive, like, an hour and a half, you can go see some sick, like, scenery. But then, like, back home, I'd say it's more like... I think I got pretty good at wrestling from being in a small town, so not a whole lot else to do.
Yeah, that's just like your only option.
Yeah, so I think that was good for me. But like me and my friends, I feel like we had a really like tight knit like friend group. Or maybe it's like that out here too, because like out here and like now even my friends out here, I hang out with the same guys because they're the guys I train with and stuff. Yeah, so it's kind of the same. But I feel like back home, like I'd say, like, I got a group of, like, 10 friends, but we're, like, really close.
Yeah.
Like, really close friends. And, like, from the time we were, like, 10, we were, running around doing like hood rat shit through town, like just doing fucked up shit. Like,
and have just known each other your whole life. Yeah.
Yeah, we just like go like we're just doing like kids like little or like things like little boys do. Like I don't know, we like ride bikes and like flip everyone's trash cans for no reason, or like go like egg everyone's house, or just like we did a bunch of shit like that. I got arrested for egging one time in high school.
Oh no way, really?
Yeah, I lost part of my wrestling season.
Oh, that
I remember because we got arrested but we were playing risky. When we got older, we started playing more risky.
Oh.
My buddy he just got a car. He had a sunroof.
Okay,
We got out the
from over
sunroof.
the top.
Yeah, we were coming out over the top, and we were like people like were walking on the sidewalk. Like, hey, bitch, just like slinging eggs at them. And then in a small town, it was pretty easy to get caught because they're like, dude, freaking. So and so's car. Yeah, it's Steve's car. Like, everyone knows that's Steve's car. They just, hey, he's throwing eggs. They caught us pretty quick.
Especially at like 16, it's like 1 out of every 5 people or whatever, 3 kids like has a car. So it's not like there's that many young kids with a car.
Yeah, exactly. So like we got literally like first thing when they pulled us over, and like one like my buddies were in there like, is Brad in the car? And then he's right there. He's like, oh, we like literally someone called and said you threw eggs at them. So
that's funny.
Yeah.
Damn.
So then. But they were fun. It's funny times now.
That is funny. Is there not like as many like scenery like where you grew up? Because that's one thing that's super cool about Arizona. People think that like it's just a fucking flat desert, but it's like you said, you drive 2 hours in a different direction, and it's like beautiful.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful out here. I think like there was one spot where it was like pretty nice like forest like area where like some trails and stuff. Probably like 30 minutes. Nothing like out here. Not even close. But it was still a fun spot. I remember when I first got into like taking mushrooms and stuff, we used to go over there and like skip school and just like go out and like outdoors all day and stuff. It would be like super fun.
Interesting. Maybe the difference is it's like the same elevation mostly anywhere you go, right? So it's gonna be like the same type of like greenery and whatnot.
I think it too, just like out here, there's like that like mountainous look to things, or like even places that aren't like real rocky, like Payson's not quite as rocky. It's still like. It's not like just like a regular forest. Like it looks like way cooler.
Or just like on your way to it, like on the beeline. It's like the fucking terrain that you drive through is just beautiful.
Yeah, it's
so much
insane.
up and down.
I don't even know how they made the roads through all that.
I honestly think about that every time that we go. It's like someone just fucking punched a road through here. Like before internet existed, before anything, they must have just flown over and said like, "This is the route we're going."
That's it's funny that like my friends like. And like my girl and stuff, they always be like, "Why do you even think like that?" Like when we start like going, I'm like, "Dude, someone built this road."
I know.
They're like, "So?" I'm like, "No, that's pretty cool."
It's
like
pretty insane if you just imagine, especially through all these fucking mountains. It's like, how'd they figure it out?
So what got me even like into thinking like that was because I never used to even like give a shit about anything like that. And then I went to lineman school, and I went to lineman school and we learned about like just all the power lines, and we were like. Because I went to school to do that, and then I end up doing it. But I remember realizing, like, every time I seen a power line, I was like, people built this.
Yeah, they put that there. Yeah, especially, like, even through the mountains, too. There's fucking power lines going all through.
Yeah, there's, like, those, like, big, the H tower kind of things.
Yeah.
And they're all through, like, up at, like, literally everywhere.
Yeah, it's wild.
And without that stuff, like linemen actually don't get that much credit for like some of the stuff they do. Like it's not like a firefighter or anything, but like when power goes out, everyone freaks out.
Yeah.
But then they're the guy that gets it back on, so it's pretty cool.
The difference is it's not they like probably don't have to rush to your house to like put it on. They're just going to this location to fucking fix it.
Yeah.
So you don't see it the same.
Yeah, it's not quite as much. Now I know one of my buddies is a lineman. That's what had got me into like going to the school and stuff to do it, but. He actually rolls and shit too. He's pretty good. He's like sick purple belt.
Nice.
But he was saying like sometimes there's like an old lady on like an oxygen tank, and when that power goes off, like you kind of got to hustle up because like
oh wow,
you know what I mean? Like certain people need it, or like their medication could go bad, or like I don't know, certain things like that.
Yeah,
like,
in their fridge and whatnot. Interesting.
But they get compensated pretty good. That's why I was gonna do it. They make really good money.
Okay, yeah. Honestly, there's so many trades right now that you can make legit money just doing trade work instead of trying to get $100,000 in debt to do some fucking $40,000 a year job.
I know. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I remember when I first moved here, well, my original plan, I was like, I'm going to become a lineman and I'm going to be a fighter.
Yeah.
And that's probably not, I don't want to say it's not doable because there's people like Stipe works like a full-time like firefighter job and stuff, but it would be hard.
Yeah, it would be more hard for sure.
Yeah.
What do you do for work right now?
I just teach at Tim's.
Okay, really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh? You still just got Sugar Mama helping you out?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. She's
Yeah.
in support of your dream.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
my girl like pays for like most stuff, but I got a few friends like living with us and stuff too. So like our rent's pretty cheap, and we rent a house from Sugar. So like,
Oh, really?
He's got like
He's
kinda
hooking you
hooks it
guys up too?
Yeah.
Wow, that's very cool as well.
Yeah. So I'm kind of just like a bum, just kind of mooching off everyone else. But
Hey, that's okay. As long as you stick to your dream and fucking work hard with it. That's
Yeah.
like literally like we were talking about Connor earlier. Like she was fucking working while he was only training, and they were on welfare at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then so your girls just got to stick it through until you're a billionaire.
I know. It really does make it way easier though. Like
Yeah.
when you're just like focused on training, like if all went right, you know, I could start fighting like and make a living, and then make a name for myself through it, and then maybe open up a school or something one day, and then make money from there. So
Oh, that'd be cool.
my goal is just never to have to like just
Work a normal job.
Yeah, just doing something I don't want to do, honestly,
Yeah.
for money.
Yeah. It's a good thing to do. I mean, it's like, it seems like the more risky pursuit, but I feel like what's more risky is fucking tying yourself to something that you hate and you don't want to do your whole life and having to report to another person. Like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine doing that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what do you do for work?
I'm in commercial real estate. Yeah. So I actually like I got in when I was like 22 years old, and I don't know, I've always just wanted to make a lot of money in my life. And so at 22, I didn't have much skills at anything. I did 4 years in college, but I dropped out after that. Like I didn't actually get my degree, and I just knew I fucking hated school. My original goal with school was to get my doctorate with it because I felt like that was the only way you can make money was with a doctorate. And then so I was just thinking about different options. My mom sold houses. Like she was a residential agent since the time I was maybe like 4 years old or something. And she brought us from, a point of like, probably lower class to like middle class, or maybe like even upper middle class. I don't know what that is, but like she just was a very hard worker and was like made something of herself, like since I was a child, to support us. And I thought it was possible through her. So I ended up getting my real estate license and I did all this shit. And then on the very last class, I met this woman that was like, have you ever considered commercial real estate? And at the time I didn't. I'd like interviewed a bunch of residential brokerages. I knew which one I was going to go to. And she was like, well, my husband owns this place. He's a self-made millionaire. He's, here's his name and number. Call him, see what happens. So I called him, and we set up an interview. He said fuck like 17 times in our interview, and I was like, this guy's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
And he's like, yo, the goal here is just make as much money as you can brokering until you can stop brokering and start investing. And that's the progression that we try to do here. And I thought it was cool, so I started doing it, and I'm still at the company now, like 8 years later.
Sick.
Yeah.
Dude, that's like, I feel like some of the biggest deals is like doing something that you like, or even if you don't like overly like it, like something that like you could see yourself doing.
Yeah.
Like I could just see myself doing this every day.
Yeah, for sure. Well, so with like real estate, like I really like real estate as far as like, figuring there's a big difference between like commercial real estate and residential real estate. I feel like residential real estate by and large is like almost like a paid tour guide. You just take people to different places, and I think a lot of them work very hard, but probably the majority, as in commercial real estate, are fucking idiots and don't know that much. In commercial real estate, it's mostly about like, can I make money on this deal or not? So it's much more like analytical analysis of each property and much more like just numbers based. And it's fucking cool, like, like turning something into, I don't know, just either value add deals or like buying land and like turning it into something. Like you're basically just sort of predicting the future of like, what do people want? Because I'm not going to be able to deliver this product in 2 years. And then once you actually deliver, it's super successful, all of this. Like, it's a cool thing. And I don't know, just fucking making money is sick too. So watching people like buy this for this amount and then sell it and make $3 million on a hit, like it fucking gets your dick hard. You know? And, but brokerage is not fun in and of itself. Like brokerage, like you're working for other people, and sometimes it can be exciting. Like often the chase of a deal is like, one thing I realized is that like putting together a deal is much more exciting than when it actually closes. Because especially in what I do, like a quick deal can be a month a very long or an average deal could even be a year and like up to maybe 3 years. So so if a 3-year deal, I basically do 90% of my work today, and then in 3 years I get paid. So by the time you actually get paid, it's like not climactic at all. It's sort of, the work has been done. But I don't know. It's been always like an excellent stepping stone. I've viewed it as like a stepping stone to my other goals in life. I want to just make a lot of money doing this until where I can just become like strictly an investor on deals and put together deals that way. Or, I fucking spend a bunch of money. Oh, no way. These fucking went out. Damn it.
Oh, damn. Okay.
I wonder how long ago they went out. Let's see. Fuck. It might be I feel like I keep a pretty good eye on them, so maybe it wasn't that long ago.
So what's your schedule look like?
What?
Like
Just in general?
yeah, just like day in the life.
Basically, it's like whatever I want. Like if I have someone that I'm like I'll set up meetings and stuff, and like for those I'll have to be in particular places, but like I don't work for anyone, and so it's just like what I want to do.
That's pretty fucking sick, dude.
Yeah.
The reason I ask is there's this guy I work with over at the lab.
Yeah.
Coach Z.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool dude. And he's into real estate and stuff.
Yeah.
And dude, I swear he's at the lab all day.
Yeah.
Like, I swear, like I see him like in the morning.
Hmm.
So we'll train or something like maybe like 9 to 10. He'll leave.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I get back at 3 for pro practice, he's already there. And then he teaches a class after like 5 to 6 or something, and then he leaves. But I'm like, he was there like a big chunk of the day that I know. So I'm like,
Yeah.
he's kind of at the lab a lot. Like to think that he has a other like entire job.
Yeah, it's like, what the hell does he, when does he actually work?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, fuck. Hold on. So, sorry, we're back. Let me just make sure. Well, I think most people listen to it, not like watch video. Hopefully that didn't go out too long ago.
Yeah.
Fuck, we'll see though. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, that was basically it. Like, so I was like 22 years old. I didn't have much skills. Like, I started jujitsu around the same time, and I was thinking, like, if I was already advanced in this, I would open up a school. That would have been my fucking path 100%.
Yeah.
But, like, I just wanted to be able to control my own future. Like, a commission-based lifestyle, it's like everything fucking starts and ends with you. Either you make money or you don't. And it's not like, you just show up and put your 8 hours in and do whatever. Like, I was working a second job just to pay my bills. And then, like, during the day, I would work on real estate just making calls and whatnot. So, yeah. I just, I wanted something that I can control my own destiny a bit. And that's, like, what it was. And so that's what I've done.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that's, like, if I was going to work a job, I'd want to do something like that.
Yeah.
Because I've worked, not like I worked forever or anything. I only worked a few years, like, when I first got out of high school. But every job I did, I didn't like. There wasn't a single job I did that I was like, man, I'm happy to be here. Like, all of them, like, I'd wake up, and I was like, fuck, I don't want to go there today.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that's cool about it, too, is that, like, you can kind of pick and choose who you work for. If some guy's a fucking asshole, like, you just don't work for him or don't answer their calls anymore,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. The hardest job I ever did was tree trimming. Tree trimming's pretty hard. Especially, well, it probably wouldn't be that hard if you're not the like grunt of the crew. But being
What's
like
the grunt mean?
just like the bitch.
Okay.
Yeah. So just being the bitch of the crew, like, so I worked for this place called Wright's Tree Trimming.
Okay.
Okay, and then like I was like 20, and this is all I'd have. Like, this is basically like my day to day how it would go.
Yeah.
I'd come in, and then get bitched at, just like right off the rip. They're like, but it's like winter time in Illinois. It's like fucking freezing.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, they have to come go do all this shit. Right. So you got to go do all the shit like that, like your bosses are telling you to do.
Yeah.
And then they cut the trees. They cut like them into logs, or they'll cut the branches, and you just drag this brush and pick up the fucking heavy logs, and you drag them through a chipper, and then all the other, like, all the old hard asses there are just pissed all the time. But you have like one guy over you basically. So like I'm one guy's groundman, but then each guy has their own groundman, right? So then maybe like I remember there's one guy, his name was Steve, and he's like, he just comes up and just starts talking the most shit to me. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing, you fucking retard? Go tell Tom to move his truck." So then I go, and then I just become the middleman of them two talking shit to each other. I was like, "Hey, Tom said if you want to say that, you gotta take your bitch ass over there to tell him." And then they both get mad at me because like, "Did you just call me a bitch ass?" And then I'm just relaying the message. So then. And then, but the whole time you're just like freezing because like the branches, they get like the ice on them.
Oh damn!
And like it don't even matter what gloves you got.
Yeah.
When you grab like whatever you're grabbing, your hands will just freeze.
Oh fuck!
Yeah, because like you're holding like frozen branches the whole day, or like when you run it through the chipper, sometimes it like kind of kicks back.
Ooh.
And like the worst is if it's like the end of a branch.
Yeah.
Because it just sticks and it hits you in the face. But when it's cold,
fuck.
if you've ever been slapped when it's cold, yeah, it's like
just slap with an icicle.
Yeah, and it gets you so mad, but there's like no one to be mad at because it's just a branch, and you're just like, I hate it.
It's like getting punched in the head.
Yeah,
you just don't, but like no one to punch back.
You know, actually, one time I got literally. So I've never been dropped or anything, but I got dropped at work from doing. I was pulling off there's like these cones on the front of the trucks, and there's like a pin, and so all the trucks they just slide out. So you pull the pin, and then the things slide out. You pull the cones off, and one of them goes up and down. So right when I pulled the pin, my face was like this. I pulled the pin, and this one goes up.
Oh,
and
fuck.
It hits me in the chin, drops me. Like I'm like rocked on the ground. My whole mouth was all bloody. I put a hole all the way through this like part.
Oh wow! Huh.
Yeah. Luckily, I didn't like lose any teeth or anything because it hit me just low enough. It didn't hit my teeth. But
that is lucky.
But yeah, I got fucked up. And then the dude that looks like my boss, like he just see me on the ground. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing on the ground?" He's seeing my face all bleeding and shit. He's like, "Dude, what happened to you?"
Wow. Damn.
Yeah.
You know, like heavy labor jobs, I think are like good to do just to experience it, like to see like this is what you could be doing for your life's work, but it fucking sucks. Like my dad was in construction his whole life, and like I worked for him a lot when I was young, and just being like yelled at him while doing shit, it's not fun.
So was working for your dad, when you worked for him, was he a different guy at work?
No, he's kind of just like always a dick. But like, I mean, one thing it's like the other workers would appreciate, like he would fucking not treat me any differently than anyone else. I remember like one time I was just had my hands in my pockets because I wasn't sure. He's like, "Get your hands out of your fucking pockets." He's like, "I'm not playing you to put your hands in your fucking pockets."
Yeah.
It's like he's like, if your hands in your pockets, you're obviously not working. You're not doing anything. But then one of the guys was like, "Well, I'm glad he yells at you the same way he yells at me."
Yeah.
So
I remember, so I started working for my uncle at Napa. Because my uncle was like the manager at Napa, like in my hometown and stuff. And I was like the delivery driver, like one summer for him.
Okay.
And my uncle was always like super cool. Like I always loved like hanging out with my uncle. He was a cool guy. And he is the biggest douche ever.
Oh, damn.
Like when I started working for him, I was like, oh, he's a completely different guy at work. Like, he was always mad for no reason, just always pissed.
That's
like
funny.
he would just snap on me.
Wow.
And then I remember one time he sent me home one time because I showed up. Okay, he calls me and was like, "Yeah, don't even come in today." I was like, "Why?" Because I was supposed to start work at like 8:00, and it was 7:58, and I wasn't there yet. I was like, "No, I don't even start yet. I'm outside. I'll be in a second." I come in. I was still early, and he's like, "Nope, you didn't care enough to be like. You need to be here at least like 10 minutes early."
Oh wow.
So then
he sent you home for that?
Yes, and he sent me home one time for that, and then he sent me home this other time. Because I don't remember if I was like shadow boxing or I was like shadow wrestling. Like there's like no one there. It's completely dead. There's no one there.
Yeah.
But it's not like I was doing it out in the front or anything either. Like I was like in the back of like the store.
Yeah.
Because I was just fucking around back there with like the parts and stuff. Because I was setting up like whatever I had to do for the next day or something.
Yeah.
And he seen me. He's like, "You look like a fucking retard. If someone walked in here, they think you're fucking autistic. Go home." And I was like, "Well," he's like, "No, I don't even want to look at you. Just go home."
Damn. Huh.
That's kind of funny, but
wow. Yeah, I think maybe like being a dick is like part of being like a good boss, or maybe not a dick, but like you got to be like hard. Like you got to be able to tell people no and like tell people like what is what. Yeah, they say like disagreeableness is like one of the biggest predictors for success in business. The more you're able to disagree with people, the more likely you'll be successful in business.
See, I think that's what I'm not good at. I don't think I'm good at that. Like sometimes I think about
Disagreeing with
even
people?
like running a school or something. Because even when I teach now, people are like, "Well, what do you think about this?" But I'm really open minded, so I'm always like, "That's pretty sick. I think you can do that."
Well, there's probably a healthy amount of that, unless they're just like, "What do you think about this?" And it's a fucking just retarded like backwards armbar. It doesn't make any sense. You gotta be able to be like, "No, that doesn't work."
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. I feel like,
Or also too with employees, like anytime someone's like fucking up, or like you got to be able to like set hard boundaries and like stick to them.
and that's the problem when you work with people you have a relationship with outside of work,
for sure.
because
It makes it difficult. Yeah, that's why it's weird. Like I actually hired my buddy last year to start working for me. Like I guess it was the end of 2021, but the agreement that we had set up, because he was a good friend of mine. Like we'd known each other for years. The agreement that we'd set up was just like, no, I'm not paying you any hourly or anything. It's like if you bring a deal to me, we'll split it 50-50. If it's something I feed you, you get 25% of it. So it was like he was straight commission based like from the beginning. And I would like help him out a lot. And then we make calls together. I'm like really trying to help him. But at the same time, it's like if he doesn't show up at 9 a.m., I'm not going to like, I don't care. I'm not paying you. So that like felt like a good way to do it because I didn't want to be his boss. You know, I wanted to just like fucking, make money together.
Yeah. That's like that kind of works like a little different too, though, I guess, right? Like,
yeah. If you're paying someone to show up, you need them to fucking show up.
If it was like construction, right? Like, and you gotta like, we're building this.
Yeah.
Like, and they're like not doing their part.
Yeah.
Like they gotta go.
They gotta go.
Like,
Yeah. That's why it would be tough to hire a friend in that situation.
Yeah.
Or just fucking, surround yourself with people that are like hard workers as well. That's important. You'll learn a lot about people like working with them, whether they're friends or even just like random coworkers. You realize like, oh, this guy's a lazy piece of shit. Like he doesn't fucking try hard on anything.
Have you ever gotten fired from a job?
Yeah, actually, but it was because I think I presented really well in my initial interview, and then I just didn't really know what I was doing. Like it was a server job at Eddie's House, which was like a fine dining restaurant over here. And I had worked at the Pink Pony before, which is like a restaurant that closed down. But I worked there for 2 years, and for like 22 months of those 2 years, I was like a busser barback. And then in the last 2 months, I started serving. And so I went to them, and I had serving experience at a fine dining restaurant. And it was like one night during like a fucking super busy time, and they would keep the red wine in a different location than the white wine, and this lady ordered some random like cab sauv, and I would like ask the manager, I'm like, hey, is a cab sauv a red or a white? She's like, it's a red, honey. And from that point, because like that's something as like a server at a high-end restaurant, you're supposed to be like a fucking wine expert and like know the notes and taste, and I didn't even know if it was a red or a white, and so she fired me after that.
Oh. Well, that makes sense, I guess, at least.
Yeah.
But they could have just kind of took you under their wing, kind of helped you too.
Yeah, they could have helped me.
Yeah, you could just learn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was learning the other shit. I was learning the food.
Yeah. I got fired from this roofing job one time. My buddy helped me get the job. So he kind of put in a good word and was like, "Oh yeah, he's a real hard worker." And to be fair, I mean, I wasn't out there grinding.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a hard worker in certain areas. I guess at work, I'm maybe not that hard of a worker.
Yeah. Huh.
But I think it was a few things. It was maybe partly that they thought I was going to be in there just grinding.
Yeah.
And I'm up there on the roof like, all right, guys, would you rather? I'm just like doing shit like that. But I mean, all I was like a feeder. You just hand them the shingles and they just like throw them in.
Okay.
It's not that complicated. Literally, you just sit up there and bullshit and then hand them shingles. But what I think kind of got him is that the guy that owned it, I think he didn't really like me too because so every day everyone would go out to eat for lunch. And then I'd bring my own lunch. And then they'd be ripping lines of Coke on the roof.
Oh, wow.
They'd be like literally like ripping them.
Like cocaine?
Like cocaine.
Wow.
Just ripping them on the roof. And they're like, you want some? And I'd be like, nah, I don't really do it. And they're like, and then he was kind of like, okay, like this kid thinks he's better than us. I think is what he thought I was getting at. And then they like be like parties and shit on weekends. I don't really ever go out or anything. And like on Friday, everyone want to stay and drink and stuff, and I don't drink. And I think he thought that I was just like was acting like I was too good or something.
Okay,
and I
wow.
think I rubbed him the wrong way.
Huh. And so he fired you for that?
That's what I think, but
Yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong.
Huh. Interesting. So you don't drink at all? Have you ever drank?
Once.
Really, one time in your life? Oh wow. And what was that time like? Or what was the reason?
I mean, I got fucked up pretty bad. But I've only really drank once, but I got fucked up. Like, I was like, so one of my other buddies, like hometown, we went to his hometown, which was another small hick town, but it was somewhere in Indiana. I don't really know why. It was just like, I was like a senior in high school. I'd never drank, and I was like, oh, fuck it. I'm going to drink tonight. And then we got fucked up, like, pretty bad, but me the worst, because I've never drank.
Yeah.
And at the time, I didn't even know, like shots. Like, I thought I still needed to drink them. Like, I drank like 12 shots. I've never drank. And like Captain Morgan, I'm just downing them.
Oh no, wow.
And then like a few hours later, I'm just like butt naked in a shower. I'm just like throwing up everywhere, like
Damn.
just dying.
Wow. And that was the only time you've drank?
Yeah, and then after that, I was just like, I don't really care to drink.
Wow. And was this when you were training hard, or you just decided like I'm not really into drinking?
I mean, I've been probably training like pretty serious since I was probably like 15 years old, to be honest.
Okay. Wow. Oh, well, it's probably a good thing to not do.
Yeah. You get any drugs?
When I was in high school, I did. In like probably early college, I did a lot of different things. But now I'm just like, I'll drink occasionally, and that's about the worst I'll do. Or I'll smoke weed occasionally. Even weed, like I don't smoke as much as I used to.
Yeah,
that's about.
I'm not
it.
a big fan of weed either. I just don't. I don't know. It don't really do it for me.
Yeah. Have you smoked weed before?
Yeah, I do sometimes, but like it's not like consistently or anything.
Yeah.
Just once in a while. But I like the only thing I really feel like I've ever done that I like is mushrooms and acid. Honestly, just psychedelics.
Yeah.
But it has to be in the right setting too. Like I wouldn't just take it like just if I was gonna sit inside all day.
Yeah.
Like I want to go like out in like nature, like hike or like go camping or something. Like,
For sure.
Then.
Yeah. Well, even those, that's not something that's like, oh, it's Saturday, let's fucking take mushrooms. Those are like, it's like a quarterly thing, or like probably at the most frequent.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I probably do them like once every 2-3 months, maybe even 4 months sometimes.
Yeah. I think it's good. I like psychedelics. I've had some of like the most profound experiences of my life, like taking psychedelics. Like, I feel like it's helped me as my development as like a young man, and like in my life in general. I feel like psychedelics have helped me so much.
Yeah, I agree 100%. That's what that was also kind of something that had sparked me ever coming out here too. It's just like, I remember just being like deep in a trip, and I'm just like, oh, you're gonna fucking die no matter what.
Yeah.
So while you're here, you could try to do something that you would actually enjoy doing, and like just do something that like you feel like is worth doing.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's good. I think it's good to follow your pursuits in that way. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I was, I got into real estate early because I felt like it was the best option out of available options. But, like actually just recently from a psychedelic trip, I decided to start like pouring more love and attention into shit that I really like. So, the real estate's been awesome. It's been like, and I'll continue to do it probably for a long time, especially just like on the principal side as much as I can. But, it was like what's allowed me the opportunity to fucking lose a bunch of money starting a jiu-jitsu competition, or, like buy all these fucking cameras and shit and try to start a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Dude,
I think it's important to like pour attention and love into shit that you like.
Yeah. I think martial arts shit sucks too sometimes though. It's like you're just always banged up. You're like always kind of injured. Like you're like always on the verge of some injury, I feel like. And then literally I don't know. Just I always feel like I'm banged up.
Yeah.
I always feel like sometimes you get like mentally fatigued.
Yeah.
Just from like training and shit.
Yeah.
And you're just like, dude, this is
just
like
from
hard.
a nonstop grind for sure. Well, it's almost like choose your suck. I don't think there's anything that's going to be fucking just like peaches and roses the whole time. I think you just got to choose like what you're really into, and all of them are going to have difficulties along the way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing too. Like even I'm sure like working at McDonald's sucks.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, you get to choose your suck. That's true.
Yeah, or choose anything. Like even if it's probably like some fucking, yeah, some job where you're just sitting down, it's not difficult, but it just you have to be there. The fucking, you waste like most of your day doing something you don't want to do, making other people money. Like, yeah, no matter what, I don't know what you could do that's going to be fun no matter what. Even if you were like a talented singer or something, it's probably difficult, sitting down and writing and like trying to do that all the time.
And then I think when you're a singer, I think like the record labels and shit steal most of your money. And you're just like, this is like, because they kind of have a monopoly. From what I know about like the music industry, fighting's getting like this a lot too. Is like, the people like you end up kind of signing your own rights away to your own shit, but that's how you get put on.
Yeah, that's how you started off. Yeah, I guess it's also about like creating your own brand too while you're doing it. So like every time a new contract comes up, you've got more power in the negotiation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why like, we were talking about how fucking boxers will make this insane wage compared to like, or at least at the top of the game compared to like the top of the game in MMA. I think when Conor fought fucking Cowboy Cerrone, he made like $50 million. I mean, that's probably more than anyone's ever made for a non-title fight, fighting someone who, he was probably super favorited to fight. I mean, he's gotten to a point where he can negotiate any sort of contract.
Dude, I think Dana would pay him almost anything just to fight anytime he fights.
Yeah, for sure. I think the top, like 4 out of the top 5 highest grossing pay-per-views ever have been with Conor McGregor.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy how just like, he had like a crazy influence on people.
Yeah.
Everyone liked him. Or even if you didn't like him, everyone talked about him.
Yeah, you tune in to watch.
Yeah.
Part of it was like fucking talking all this shit and then like fucking putting your money where your mouth is, going out and performing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a sick thing. It's kind of like Gordon. Like except Gordon is just so much less charismatic.
But Gordon's so much better too. Like he never comes close to like even close.
He just punks like world champions and then like tells which submission that he's gonna get, which means he could have like submitted you in different ways along the way, but he's like choosing, like waiting for the opportunity to submit you with whatever you wrote in that fucking envelope.
He sounds like so like nerdy when he's like being like analytical about what he's doing too, but he's just built like a gorilla. It's like goddamn, dude.
So yeah, well, basically I'm just like the best in the world, and I was gonna armbar him from the beginning. So get my instructional for arm bars.
Yeah, and he just like sound like no one know. Like I hate how he's just like. Yeah, well, like they don't know jiu-jitsu. Like no one knows jiu-jitsu. I'm like, fuck. Compared to you, fucker.
Yeah. Do you watch instructionals or anything like that?
Yeah, I've gotten more into it recently.
Nice.
But I used to watch like what I used to be into was like narrated rolls. Like watching 2 people roll live, but someone kind of narrating like what they're kind of doing and stuff. Some of those I found. I think William Tackett has a few. I think I found a few where the Rotolo brothers were doing that, and then Firas the Hobby has some on his YouTube. But I think those help me a lot. Just like watching someone kind of like, it'd be like if me and you do a round, but then you just kind of, you post it and you're like just saying what you're doing.
Yeah, like this is what I'm going for here. This is what he responded with, so this is what I'm trying to implement. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think people should do more of those.
That's a good idea, honestly.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a really good idea. I don't think very many people are doing that.
Yeah, I'd want to do it, but I think I also don't want to offend anyone either. It needs to be someone I know that'd be cool to be posting the round. And then two, it's easier, especially if like the guy's good that you're going with. Because I almost would feel like a dick if I'm like just trashing someone. I'm like, hey, you care if I post that?
Just fucking up a white belt.
Yeah, but I'm just like destroying them. But that's what Firas the Hobby does. He's rolling with like blue belts and all his, and he's just killing them.
Interesting. I guess if it's people you have good relationships with, like just guys in your gym who you're gonna beat them anyways. So if you could record it and then post that.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty good.
It's pretty good stuff. Like that's where I feel like I learned a lot was just like listening to someone break it down. I do well even like if say me and you do a round and then you're kind of like, oh, I was doing this here. Like if you just kind of tell me what you're doing or like where I'm struggling, and if you can see I was struggling there, and then you're kind of saying what you're doing, it helps me. Or like every time I roll with like Taquino, sometimes he'll give me like a little detail like. It could be something super small, like just in the middle of a round, like, hey, don't do that, do this. Yeah. And then, like, I'll remember it. And like, it'll help me a lot. Usually.
That is important. Yeah, that's good. It's also good to be, like, coachable in that way. Yeah. I think people who, like, really take heed to, like, people who are giving them advice, that's really good.
Yeah. You know, the only person I feel like I've rolled with, though, like, in any recent time was like that completely just trashed me, and I'm like, dude, I'm just nowhere near is Isaiah.
Oh yeah.
Dude, when I roll with him, I'm like, I don't even know what's going on. I feel like I'm a fifth grader rolling with his dad, just getting mauled.
Dude, he's fucking tough. He's super difficult to roll with.
I feel like there's nothing. Like even when I try to take him down, or like if I do take him down, it's like I land into like some heel hook somehow.
Yeah.
I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
He hit me in a nasty duck under one time. I was like, geez, he's wrestling me up now too. I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, he's super tough. I'm honestly super honored to train under him. He's just, it's been fucking cool too. So we actually just had our first class at the new gym yesterday, and like I started training with him as a white belt at his gym when it was like 800 square feet of space, and now we just moved into 5,500 square feet. This massive like brand new space built out for him, and it's been sick watching the journey. But he's fucking cool. It's like he's also like you like collar tie him, like try to snap him down. It's like trying to snap down a statue.
Yeah.
It just doesn't move at all. You just touch him,
Yeah.
it feels like he's fucking made of wood.
The first time I think I rolled with him was at Taquino's old gym when I first moved here, and he just trashed me. Probably even worse. He just trashed me even worse back then. And then I think I asked him what belt he was, and I swear he said white belt. I swear he was fucking with me and said he was a white belt. And I think he did. Because I remember thinking that he was, and then I'd seen him like a few weeks later, and I was like, no, he's a black belt. What am I saying? I was watching him like Taquino. I'm like, he's not a white belt. And I was like, he was just fucking with me. But I believed it at first when he said it, and I was like, oh, fuck, dude.
That's funny. He's also just like a dick sometimes.
Yeah.
Too. Just say shit like that.
He was like a white belt. I was like, white belt? He's like, yeah.
That's hilarious. How funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to stop by our gym sometime soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be down to come through.
Come through. Yeah. We've got like I usually teach the Saturday class at 9:30, and then we've got open mat at 11 after.
Yeah.
Roll through some time.
I'd be in for like a 9 o'clock class. I got to be at the lab by like 12.
Okay.
We do our sparring on Saturday.
Nice.
But maybe this week and even I got this cut, and I'm not trying to really get punched in the face.
I feel
so
you.
I got a cut.
Yeah. All right, roll through for sure.
Yeah.
It'll be cool.
Yeah, I'd be in.
Nice. All right. Well, sounds good, bro. We've done almost 2 hours. I've got to get back to work. Hopefully, fucking the cameras didn't cut out for too long.
Yeah. Just like it only got the first like 10 minutes.
Yeah. That would suck. It's okay. I think most people listen, but yeah, either way, it'll be cool.
All right.
Well, dude, thank you very much for coming.
Yep.
I'm excited for your future.
Sounds good, brother.
All right.
Sounds good.
Oos.